Baseball from the East Bay. That's Rickey Henderson Field at the Oakland Coliseum as the Astros hit the road to start a 7-game road trip. Tonight, it's the first of 4 between the Houston Astros and the Oakland Athletics. The Astros going to work tonight looking for their 46th win of the season. Get things headed back in the right direction after a disappointing homestand. Alongside Jeff Plum, I'm Kevin Eschenfelder. It is so good to welcome you to Astros Baseball. Todd Callis has the road trip off, but the Astros back out on the road, Blummer, where they're, quite frankly, right at home.
They'd love to swing the bats on the road, scoring almost 2 runs per game more, and there might be some interesting developments in Seattle. All
right, and as far as the pitching matchup is concerned, Astros have Brad Peacock on the mound tonight as he goes for the Astros, and it's time to play, brought to you by Toyota.
And Brad Peacock played last time out. The outing before, he scuffled a little bit. This was a great bounce-back outing for him. Coming back on 3 days rest, did a good job with the fastball. We've heard about the slider all year long. He has gotten to himself to 13.39 strikeouts per 9 innings with that slider. What he's done very effectively, especially in that last start, was establish the fastball early. You see the numbers. He is the first pitcher in club history to have those 10 punch-outs in less than 5 innings. Considering some of the guys that have been in the rotation for the Houston Astros over the years, that's a big number. But for Brad Peacock, fastball slider mix is a key against a high strikeout team in the Oakland A's tonight.
That was on just 3 days rest after going just 3 innings in the game before that. The Astros love to swing the bats, as Blummer said, on the road. They'll try to do that. It's the first of 7 away from Minute Maid Park. Look at the starting lineups and first pitch next here on Root Sports.
The series opener between the A's and the Astros coming up in just one moment. We welcome you back into Oakland Coliseum. The Astros may be glad to be back on the road after a disappointing 3-6 homestand. For some reason, they've looked really good on the road, 23-8 so far this year. But when you talk more specifically, like this ballpark, they've been undefeated in their last 6 games. Pretty impressive when you look at what they've been able to do at this ballpark. This goes back to last year, but averaging 6 runs a game. The pitching's been good too, a 2.45 team ERA for this club. What is it about this ballpark? Well, there's some hitters in that lineup tonight who perform really well here too. So should be a good one here against a newer pitcher for the Oakland A's, somebody this team has not seen yet. And for more on that, we're going to send it up to the guys in booth. Kevin Eschenfelder, Jeff Blum, how are you tonight?
Doing very, very well in a 72-degree evening. Julia, you talked about it last time the Astros were here. They actually got rained out on a Sunday when they played right across the bay in San Francisco, but as the case was, Astros will have to make one up later on in the season when they come back here, as the Astros and Oakland A's start a 4-game series tonight here on the East Bay. Gorgeous night for baseball here. Our Southwest Airlines starting lineups looking like this for the Houston Astros. George Springer will be leading it off, followed in the 2-hole by Marwin Gonzalez, who gets the start at first base tonight. HOU AT OAK, who loves hitting in this ballpark, hitting .331 overall. He's in the 3-hole. Correa, Beltran, and Evan Gattis, the middle third. Derek Fisher's in left field, moving up in the lineup to the 7th spot tonight. Bregman and Marisnik will round out the lineup for the Houston Astros, and they will be facing young Daniel Gossett, who will be just making his 2nd major league appearance in his 2nd major league start.
There's your right-hander, Daniel Gossett, and those starts in AAA. You can see the record at 3-3, 3.41 ERA. That first start did not go very well for Daniel Gossett. He gave up 7 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings, 2 of those via the home run. He is replacing Andrew Triggs in that rotation for the Oakland A's. He has a fastball. It's not a blazer. He throws the fastball between 88 and 91 miles an hour, slider and a changeup. 53% of the time he's getting ground balls. And that opponent batting average early on is .353.
You saw those numbers at AAA. They were not great, but at the same time, his last 5 starts at Nashville, he went 3-1 with an ERA just a little over 1.5, 1.55. So he gets his 2nd turn through the rotation. That's a good thing for the Astros, because Andrew Triggs, who's on the DL with that hip, he was tough against Houston. It'll be George Springer leading it off, a .282 hitter with 19 home runs and 44 runs batted in. Astros have won 11 of the last 12 over the Oakland Athletics. They start play tonight with an 11-game lead in the American League West. Working out of the stretch, and we are underway. It's in there for a strike.
Pretty good start from Gossett. You don't want to pump a fastball in there to George Springer. Seen him jump a couple of pitchers for those leadoff home runs.
The 0-1, that is hit well to left. Will it stay up? It will. An outstanding diving catch. Yeah, it got away from it. Chris Davis had it for a moment, and then it came out of the glove when he hit the ground. And now are they going to look at this again, or are they? What a way to start it.
Can the ground cause a fumble?
Did he secure the baseball? There's
a catch, and then I don't think that's a catch. I'm not sure they're going to be able to overturn that.
Well, they're still looking at it. A.J. Hinch comes out. Chris Davis looking up for a replay.
Yeah, they've got to definitely go for this. Look, it looked like as the ball was bouncing around on the ground, Chris Davis immediately moving that right hand into the glove to try and pull it out to make it look like he was trying to make the exchange, but I don't know if he ever secured it.
Did you ever see a call on the field? Did you ever see a safe call on the field?
Well, I think that's why AJ is on the field, is because they have called him out. And up here in the press box, we got the announcement that it was a fly out to left field.
Well, the umpires will talk it over.
Heck of a start,
yeah,
huh?
Nice start to this one.
Glad to have
that?
you back in the booth.
Todd Callis has the road trip off. Bill Welke is the home plate umpire. Jordan Baker at first base. Bruce Dreckman is at second, and Mike Everett is the third base umpire who makes this call. This is in real speed. I
just don't know. I didn't see that ball.
Well, when you look at
that's a great angle, by the way.
It was. You look at it from behind. I'm not sure if that ball was ever secured.
You look at it. Couldn't resist.
Here we go.
Yep.
So
at some point, somebody's got to make the decision to go look at this, right?
Well, they're doing it right now. They're walking over.
And again, this is probably a crew challenge, so there's not going to be anything against A.J. Hinch and the Houston Astros as far as having a challenge taken away.
Well, the angle that we just saw from behind,
yeah,
it did look like the ball was moving a little bit.
I completely agree.
This one is going to be an interesting call. This was the angle too. This is the best angle.
Give George credit for roping that ball to left field, but when Chris Davis has that in his glove on the way to the ground, as he hits the ground, it starts bobbling out of there.
Well, the Astros are challenging the rule on the field. That's ruling was a catch.
And you watch plenty of baseball. How many times have you seen the fielder make the catch, pick it up, show it to the umpire? And the reason they're showing it to the umpire is to show that they have control of the baseball and they made a catch.
Completed the play.
Yeah, we never saw that from Chris Davis.
The Astros playing game number 71 tonight. They are 46-24, the best record in baseball. Oakland A's at the other end of that spectrum in the American League. They are 31-38 in 5th place in the American League West. A.J. Hinch, he's about as far away from that play as anybody, but he got the word immediately, and needless to say, a very early challenge.
And again, it has to be definitive to overturn it. And just having played the game and seen that angle that we saw from that left field corner behind Chris Davis, I just don't know if he secured it. It started in the palm of his glove and gradually worked its way out the end of the glove.
What were they telling us? The A's play some long games, and
yeah,
see, this is
off to an electric start.
Here we go. Safe.
There you go.
There you go.
And you know what I did for the first time in a long time is I didn't write it in my book until I got the official call. Veteran move right there, Esh.
Well played, Jeff Blum. Well played, George Springer. And you know, it was still well played by Chris Davis, even though he didn't secure that. That was a diving try on a ball that was really hooking away from him, and a ball that was hit hard as well. And you know who had to sit here and watch all through that is 24-year-old Daniel Gossett, who's got to be thinking to himself after giving up 7 runs in his major league debut. Somebody hits a rocket on the first at bat of the game. Here is Marwin, a .311 hitter.
Well, this is going to be unlike any lineup that Gossett has ever faced. Granted, he's only had 1 big league start.
That was against the Florida Marlins. In fact, that was the last time the A's have lost a game. They come in here after a 4-game sweep of the New York Yankees, the first time they've done that in nearly a half century. The 1-0 to Marwin. That's fouled away. 72 degrees tonight, not a cloud in the sky. Houston now 23-8 on the road. Look at this.
You're going to make me say this all night long, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to.
No, it's gorgeous out here. I mean, this is a cool evening for us.
Yesterday was the hottest game here since 2008.
What?
2008. 90 degrees. He had the audacity to complain about that to people from Houston.
Happiest person in the ballpark, Julia Morales.
She'll be shivering before the night's over. The 1-1 to Marwin. That misses off the outside. 2-1. Marwin, 12 homers, 37 runs batted in. What a season he has been able to put together. Back healthy again. 989 OPS while playing 6 different positions this season for the Astros. Club has won 4 of its last 5 over the A's. That's bounced foul. Marwin came in as a pinch runner last night. Astros got in here very, very late. Well, actually, they got in very, very early this morning. After playing that 4-hour-plus game last night, 4:08 was the time of the game last night against the Boston Red Sox.
And the weakest excuse in baseball is that you gain 2 hours.
You gained 2 hours.
Yeah, my body is still in Houston, trying to catch up. Yeah, it's games like this that I am thankful that I'm sitting here next to you and not trying to go out there and play a big league ball game.
Marwin hits that lazy fly ball to left. Chris Davis underneath it. And look at George Springer. Heads up, base running, and Springer picks up 90 feet. He read that from the very beginning, and with Davis going over to the line, closer to the line, look at this. That's a great read.
No, it is a great read, and we know, having seen Chris Davis in the outfield, they are going to run every single opportunity they get on Chris Davis. He does not have a very good arm at all. It's time for the Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight. We're going to bring you Jose Altuve, of course, 9-game hitting streak here at Oakland Stadium. Actually had that broken up. He had a longer one going into last season, but he is swinging the bat extremely well here at Rickey Henderson Field in his career here at Oakland, hitting .359 since 2016. He's hitting a couple points better at .361. And of course, his road numbers are vastly different than they are at home.
.416 on the road. Best hitter away from his home ballpark in baseball. Overall, .331, 10 home runs. 34 runs batted in for Jose Altuve. And the interesting thing about him is he's hitting .331, and you don't get the feeling. I mean, he's had a couple of times when he's really gotten on a hot streak, but you haven't gotten the feeling he's been as good as he can be. That just gives you an idea just how good he is.
Well, there was that brief stretch in May where he was having a great May, and he looked like the old Altuve. But then we went home and he scuffled a little bit, started chasing some more pitches out of the zone. But it's on the road where he's been doing most of the damage.
Look at the number, 40 games here in Oakland, hitting a .359. In fact, last time they were here was a 2-game. It ended up being a 2-game series because of the rainout. He reached base 8 of his 10 plate appearances in that series.
You know what caused that rainout? The Astros offense.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say that.
No, that is the God's honest truth, because we sat here and watched the rain dissipate at game time. But they called that game a couple hours before it was supposed to be played.
And they did play in San Francisco that day.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know the area, that's what,
just across
20
the
minutes,
bay.
yeah, 20-minute drive where the San Francisco Giants play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jose Altuve. Hit .376 on the road a year ago. Jose hitting in the 3-hole tonight. Facing Daniel Gossett, native of Duncan, South Carolina. His debut was on Wednesday. Gave up 6 earned runs on 6 hits and 3 1/3 at Miami. Step over move, and keeping George Springer somewhat close to the bag at second base.
George still looking for that stolen base on the season. Been quiet in that department, but he hasn't really had to take advantage of stealing that extra base because he's been on base getting driven in by the guys behind him, no matter where he's at.
Yeah, he didn't steal a base, but he certainly was able to take one by running on Chris Davis's arm. Big 90 feet to move into scoring position with Jose Altuve at the plate.
And it's not for lack of speed for me. He obviously has the speed to be able to go out there and take some bags. But I think it's more of just he is in scoring position because of 2 reasons. Number one, his own speed. He's able to score from first on anything in the gap, and the guys hitting behind him have a tendency to drive the gap.
That misses in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And here's the beauty of this lineup. Ordinarily, with a guy that's hitting .330, you're looking at it, you got a first base open with a 3-2 count. But then you look over in the on-deck circle and you've got Carlos Correa standing there, who is quietly hitting .304. The 3-2. That ball hit well to center field. Brugman goes back, makes the catch, and he'll throw it into third. And George Springer advances another 90 feet to third base. Hey, Astro fans, Root Sports and the Astros Foundation, they teamed up on Friday to support USO Houston and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Houston by selling charity bags. Now, there are a limited number of VIP bags still available for purchase for $300. Each bag contains a voucher for 2 tickets to a Monday through Thursday game in the regular season, an Astro hat, custom Astro t-shirt, and an autographed baseball from a select player on this year's roster. So help us raise money for these charities. That is USO Houston and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Houston. You can go to astros.com/charity game. A lot of Astro fans on hand for this one on a picture-perfect night.
First 3 hitters have been started off with the off-speed pitch from Gossett. Understanding the Astros do a good job of hitting the fastball.
Correa, that 304 aforementioned batting average, 13 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Springer leading away from third. That misses low. Correa, another guy that comes into this game on a roll. Carlos, a 7-game hitting streak in which he's hitting .370 in those last 7 games. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Gossett's not a guy that's going to overpower you.
Good breaking ball, and again, these Astros, first time seeing Daniel Gossett, are trying to get a feel for what he's got.
Scouting report I saw, and you talked about it, lives in the low 90s, can rush it up there, can touch 95 when he needs it. That's what I read. A plus curveball. Still working on that, obviously. It's outside a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6'2", 185 pounds. Just 24 years old. He pitched at Clemson in college. The 2-2. Got him swinging. The Astros strand a man at third. Go to the bottom of the first. Scoreless. And Brad Peacock takes them out for his 6th start of the season. 3-1 with an ERA of 3.00. A lot of Astro fans on hand for this one. So take a look at the lineup that he will face tonight. Matt Joyce will be leading it off, followed by Chad Pinder. Jed Lowry, the former Astro, is in the 3-hole. He's a designated hitter. Chris Davis is in left field. He bats 4th. Yonder Alonso bats 5th. Ron Healy is the 3rd baseman. Jacob Brugman is batting 7th. He's the center fielder. Josh Fagley and Adam Rosales round out the lineup for the Oakland Athletics.
Some good numbers on Brad Peacock. He'll be making his 6th start after working into that rotation, after being the long guy in that bullpen when the Astros broke camp. 39 innings, 58 strikeouts. That comes out to 13.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. Doing a very good job. The batting average against him right at $180, and he's only given up 1 home run this season.
Matt Joyce takes that off the plate. Ball 1. 231 hitter. He's got 8 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Just 2 for 12 this season against the Astros. He's really heated up lately, though. He's 10 of his last 16. That's in there for a strike. Also 3 doubles and a home run during those games as well. Went skied on the infield. Bregman the only man over there, and he'll make the play. 1 away in the bottom of the 1st inning. That'll bring up Chad Pinder. You see a lot of guys with very similar numbers for the A's. Hitting in the 230s, that's not a good thing. .236 hitter is Chad Pinder with 8 home runs and 23 runs batted in.
They've got a pretty strong group of Mickey Tettletons, Rob Deers, all or nothing type guys.
Yeah, it's feast or famine. Whoa, look out. Man.
Well, he's leading in the bat toss.
I was going to say, that is one of the long drive contests. You see where that thing landed.
Might be the
down.
only time you're thankful there's so much foul territory here. That's getting the head out.
Look at this.
According to StatCast, that was an estimated 110 feet.
What was the exit velo of his hands?
That was around 76.8.
No balls and 1 strike to Chad Pinder. That misses inside. Well, the A's have been much better here at home. It's interesting. They're the 6th best home record, and they've got the worst road record in baseball. At home, they are 22-13. On the road, just 9-25. There's a wave and a miss, and there you see that breaking ball from Brad Peacock.
It's a good one. Remember, for him to be good, he's got to be consistent down in the zone with both the fastball and the slider.
Is it the deception of the hitter? Because you see a ball, that sweeping slider like that, breaking away from right-handers. They just not pick that up?
Well, they don't pick it up, and it's not a normal break to it. You can see they're having a tough time trying to create a launch angle to get to that pitch.
That was a definition of weak contact, and there's 2 away. Well, here's Jed Lowry, the former Astro.
With the strikeouts going up for Brad Peacock, also the ground ball rate has gone up for him also, and that's a great sign too, because when he can't go to the strikeout, it's nice that he's able to go to that ground ball, and it's jumped up a little bit for him. He's at 45.7%, jumping up about almost 4 or 5% from last year.
Yes, he did.
I thought that was a pretty good pitch to begin with.
Yep.
A little more of a traditional 12-6 breaking ball. This is not the slider. That was a right call.
Yep. Jed Lowry traded from the Astros to the Oakland A's. That's in there for a strike. Started off with Boston, was traded to Houston in the Martin Melanson deal. In 13, he was traded to Oakland for Chris Carter, Max Stassi, and the man that's on the mound, Brad Peacock. That misses low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 33-year-old native of Salem, Oregon. He played his college baseball at Stanford, right here in the Bay Area.
Tough break.
Said the Cow Bear.
Exactly.
That is hit well to right. Springer back, measures it. It'll make the play. That'll retire the side through 1. We are scoreless in Oakland. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Kevin Eschenfelder, Jeff Blum with you upstairs. Julia Morales down on the field. Todd Callis taking the road trip off. Good to have you with us tonight here from the East Bay, Oakland, California, where the Astros will send Carlos Beltran to the plate to lead off here in the second inning, followed by Evan Gattis and Derek Fisher. 239 hitter with 9 home runs and 30 runs batted in for Carlos Beltran. Gossett worked around a leadoff single in the first inning. Was able to strand Springer at third base. Now facing Beltran. That's on the outside corner. Good pitch and a strike. Astros took 2 out of 3 from the A's at Minute Maid Park after taking 2 in a row here. That's a foul ball. Or was it? It was a foul. It was called a foul.
Yeah, we got a tough angle up here. But just initially watching it on the field, looked like it hit that chalk line past first base. So give us a better look. Ooh.
First base umpire making the call. Was right on top of it. Jordan Baker making the calls at first. Did not go. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the veteran Carlos Beltran. Carlos had a hit last night in that series against the Red Sox in the finale of the 3-game series. The Astros lost 2 out of 3. Disappointing loss last night and a frustrating loss last night. The Astros stranded 13 base runners in that 6-5 loss. They out-hit Boston 14-8. Couldn't come up with a big swing when they needed it. Had a 3-6 homestand. Lost all 3 of those series. That one fouled back into the screen. Evan Gattis waits on deck. That one bounced to first. And Yonder Alonso will take it himself. There's 1 away. So Gattis getting the start behind the plate tonight. Beltran is the designated hitter. Gattis a .264 hitter, 4 home runs, 24 runs batted in. He's had some success against the A's. 5 for 13 with those 3 runs batted in. .385 hitter against Oakland. Bit of a knee buckler that time. That one rifled to left, and that'll get down. And Gattis will chug in with a 2-base hit. So Evan Gattis a 1-out double. The Astros trying to get something going here in the second.
Can't beat Gattis upstairs with the fastball, especially here at the Oakland Coliseum. It's a really good look at the way he brought the hands in to get the barrel to it.
It's his 10th double of the season. He's in scoring position for Derek Fisher. But talk about a guy that's looked comfortable at the plate. 4 for 14 since making his major league debut against Texas last Wednesday. Outside corner in for a strike.
So to give you an idea of what big league lineups do against guys they've never faced before, in that first outing against Miami, Gossett gave up an average of 250. After that first time through the order, the second time through, those guys ramped it up to a 444 average. So the first time through, these guys are trying to see release point. They're trying to see action on the pitches. Do they pick it up early enough? Is he tipping? And then all of a sudden you register that, in the experience bank and then come back that second time and put it to him.
How closely did you, when you were sitting on the bench, watch the opposing pitcher to see if he was tipping any pitches?
Yeah, as often as we possibly could. There would be a group of us, especially if I was on a little bit elder bench. Like the first time when or the second time when I came back with the Houston Astros, we had guys like Jose Cruz Jr., Darian Erstad, Mark Loretta, Brad Osmus. We had some just salty vets that would just sit down there and try and pick apart guys and try and relay that information to guys in the starting lineup.
Well, the 2-1 to Fisher. And it could be something as simple as change-up grip. They fan the glove, open it up wider.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because yesterday on listening to the radio broadcast, because we weren't working that game, is Steve Sparks was talking about how Joe Musgrove holds his changeup as he goes into his glove, and then he'll move off the changeup into another pitch, because the changeup, you have to open up the glove to get that grip, and that usually tells you that a changeup is coming.
There's a swing and a miss, and there's 2 away.
So in order for pitchers to counteract that, they will go in there and grab that changeup. You see Fisher fall victim to a curveball down.
Hey,
when I say fan,
yep,
you'll see the pitcher come set. That's a changeup. That would be fastball or maybe a slider. But anytime they had to go in there to grab that circle change, that's what we mean by fanning, when that glove hand opens up.
Sometimes they just talk about a guy would tip his glove one way or the other. Fastball, maybe it would be straight up, or maybe tip it a little bit on a breaking ball, things like that.
I got Dave Burba real good in Arlington one year. We went through there, and they were talking about how out of the set position, if he came set with the glove closer to his chest, it was a cutter. If he came set and the glove was away from his body, it was something else. Saw him come set with his glove against his chest. I sat cutter and dropped a bomb on him.
They're going to drop it a bomb. That bat was blown up, and that'll do it for the Astros. Through an inning and a half, we are scoreless.
Bottom of the second. 2017 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Visit astros.com/buddies for all the details and to purchase a membership for kids up to 12 years old. Kevin.
All right, Julia, thank you very much. Astros and A's scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Chris Davis will be leading it off. Davis, 240 hitter, 18 home runs, and 45 runs batted in, but he has hit a dry spell here lately. Fouled back. Davis hit a 442-foot home run yesterday against the Yankees. That was just his second home run in the month of June.
After lighting it up in April. And he's not a big guy by any means, but he can generate some serious bat speed and drive the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, he struggled mightily in May. Just hit 186 in the month of May. There's a swing and a miss.
That might be the equalizer.
He was having a long conversation with Ricky Henderson here at Ricky Henderson Field before tonight's game. I wonder if they were talking about some of the struggles that he might have been going through.
What better guy to ask than Ricky Henderson?
We should have just asked Julia to ask Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, she made a new friend today.
BFFs.
We are besties. That is, I can confirm that. No, I met Ricky Henderson.
I would say, how happy are you about that?
Yes, it was great. You know, we see him around here time to time, but he's one of those where I've always been a little nervous to just walk up to. And thankfully, Gary Pettis and him are really close, and Gary knew that I was a fan and set it up. He actually embarrassed me really good.
I was going to say,
that, but
he looked like he was quite happy to meet you.
Yeah, he was. He was actually great to talk to just for a couple of minutes. Just the things that guy has done in his career is so impressive, and it was so nice and happy to talk baseball, and obviously loves being around here now that the field's named after him. Pretty cool for him.
Well, at the name of the game, take a look at this pitch.
That's a good pitch.
Oof.
Strikeout pitch.
The name of the game is scoring more runs than the opponent. No one has scored more runs in the history of this game than Ricky Henderson. Same spot, just missed.
I don't know how much better you got to throw those.
Boy, Brad Peacock, he snatched at the baseball too when it came back to him. 2 balls.
You know what's
and 2
interesting
strikes.
is that Gary Pettis grew up in the Bay Area, played against Ricky Henderson in high school. Could you imagine some of those battles? 2 pretty good outfielders going at it.
That's pretty solid right there. That misses inside. The count goes full.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say there might have been a little bit of a trash talking going on too. Those guys have the gift of gab.
That is for sure. You think they can both tell some stories? That would be perfect to be able to sit in with those guys and not say a word. Just
you wouldn't have to. You just sit there and absorb. It'd be great.
Got him swinging.
Took a couple extra pitches for Brad Peacock to get away from Chris Davis. Finally gets the check swing from him for his first punch out of the ball game for him. But it was good to see Brad not get flustered. A couple of calls could have gone his way, but just jump right back on the hill and put him away with that good slider.
So that'll bring up Yonder Alonso, the first baseman, who hits .302. Last time I checked, he was the leading vote getter among first basemen in the American League. And that would be a big thing for him. He is a Miami, well, he's Cuban born, but calls Miami his hometown. Went to the University of Miami. .17 home runs, 37 runs batted in for Yonder Alonso. The veteran started his career as a Cincinnati Red. That ball hit well to right. Springer over. He'll cut it off. That was played nicely. Gave it all he could to see if he could make the catch in the air, and when he didn't, he knew when to. The fight had been fought. He was able to make the play and then throw it back in. Yonder Alonso and Marwin Gonzalez having some fun at first base.
No, you were talking about it. George actually went after this ball like he had the intent of laying out and catching it, but when he realized he wasn't able to get there, did a good job playing it off the hop. Keeping Yonder Alonso at first base, and what that does is keeps that potential double play in order.
Well, if he leaves his feet and doesn't make that play, that's 3 bases with 1 out. Instead, it's a 1-out single. And Ron Healy, that's got some pop. He had a big home run against the Yankees yesterday. Hitting .284. He's 17 home runs and 42 runs batted in. Right there.
Seen that pitch called a ball and a strike
in the last 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
Yanks that one outside. 1-1.
Ryan Healy starting the year as the designated hitter for the Oakland Athletics. Trevor Plouffe, a free agent sign, had been the third baseman, ended up hitting .215 over there. Now Matt Chapman just called up, having some left knee issues in his first week in the big leagues. Puts Healy out at third base. He's not the best defensive third baseman they've got.
Yeah, Chapman was a kid that was a high round draft pick for them. He made his debut against the Yankees in that 4-game series. So he made his debut and came up with a huge hit on Saturday night in the 8th inning to put the A's ahead. Turned out to be the game winner. But they say a knee infection, and so he's out for the time being. Expected to play in this series, but will not play tonight. They say he is just a fantastic man with the glove. There's a swing and a miss. And what Brad Peacock can make some hitters look really bad. He did right there.
Well, if you're looking at a scouting report of Brad Peacock and you see, okay, fastball, slider, breaking ball, he has pitched plenty in the big leagues, but this is a different Brad Peacock. Number one, he's been healthy all year long, which has been great. He's in a great routine, but he's also got a great release point on that slider. Developed that when he was back down in AAA working with teammates, and has brought it here to the big leagues this season. It's been fantastic.
That's in there for a strike. Yeah, Peacock, he came to the big leagues as a Washington National. Got traded to the A's, but never played in the big leagues for the Athletics. Jacob Brugman, center fielder, 273 hitter. Still looking for his first major league home run. He's just been up. A's have had a lot of guys make their major league debut in the last 3 weeks.
This guy right here, Jacob, is replacing Mark Canha, California Golden Bear. Got off to a rough start this season, hitting a .91, but he got 33 punch-outs and 99 at-bats. Not only are you not getting hits, you're not making much contact. Opens the door for a 17th rounder like Brugman from BYU.
Fouled back. Brugman, a very versatile outfielder. Good athlete, can play all 3 positions in the outfield.
Everybody's favorite right there. They'd love those people back home.
What they lack in numbers, they make up for in enthusiasm tonight.
And noise.
Agreed. Just missed. Good try on that outside corner.
Your Twitter feed's about to go nuts. Fans love it when we come through here.
Alonso leads away from first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're in the second with 2 outs. That one hit high to Springer in right. Springer underneath it and makes the play. Through 2, we're scoreless.
Sports and the Astros Foundation teamed up last Friday to support USO Houston and the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Houston by selling charity bags. There's a limited number of VIP bags still available for purchase. It's $300. Each bag containing a voucher for 2 tickets to a Monday through Thursday 2017 regular season game, an Astros hat, also a custom Astros t-shirt, and an autographed baseball from a select player on this year's roster. Please help raise funds for these charities by going online tonight, like right now, www.astros.com/charity-game.
That was a lot of fun, too.
That was a lot of fun.
All those people coming up to me and
you guys did good.
Asking how I was, and if I would ask Julia if they would take a picture with her.
You were the official photographer.
I was like, sure, I'll take. Okay, here, hold the camera.
Oh, you mean you two, not me.
They hand me the phone. Here's Marisnik to lead off the 3rd inning. 258, 8 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Man, he didn't get cheated last night, did he? 454-foot home run. Got on that back leg and hit it a mile.
Tried taking out Bobby Dynamite up there in the train.
Wow. No balls and 2 strikes.
And he's actually done a really good job against right-handed pitching.
Done a good job against right-handed pitching, and for a guy that has had a limited number of at-bats, I mean, that's just, it is what he is, and that's his lot in baseball life right now. And I wouldn't imagine that's not very easy to do, and it's probably something you did a lot of as well during your playing career.
Oh, yeah. Well, much like when you hang around Julia, you know your role. You're going to be taking pictures of her with other people. Much like Jake Marisnik understands, he is that 4th outfielder who comes in on defensive purposes, but he's actually taking advantage of some of these starts and come up with some big hits. There you see the numbers against lefties and righties. Righties 300, but the lefties he's hitting 200, and that was where he was expected to be, is playing mostly against left-handed pitching, relieving Aoki.
Can you explain that? Is it just coincidence? Is it just because what's happening this season?
I think it's just what's happening this season. But think about right-handed hitters. They coming up through high school, minor leagues, college, wherever they come up, they are facing a majority of right-handed pitching. They're used to seeing it.
That one hit to right. Matt Joyce makes the play. There's 1 out. Turns it over to the top of the order for George Springer, who singled back in the 1st to lead this game off.
But also the thought process is that right-handed hitters are going to see left-handed pitchers better. Hence the reason I switch hit. So I could have the advantage but from hitting both sides of the plate and not having to deal with that right on right or left on left.
You learned in college, right?
Freshman year, right up the road here at Berkeley.
It's inside to George Springer. And how difficult was it when you started?
Awful. I stunk. I was terrible. I went into the manager's office or coach's office, head coach Bob Milano's office, after proceeding to go 0 for 50 against junior colleges in fall ball, and I said, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm killing the team. I'm killing myself. And he promptly said, if you want to have a scholarship, you're going to hit left-handed. Guess what I did?
I know what else you did. You thanked him every 1st and 15th for the rest of
the
next 15 years is what you did.
Yeah, especially in that June of 1994 when I got drafted by the Montreal Expos.
That was my point.
He'll be at the game on Wednesday night here.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be good to see him.
That's in there for a strike on the breaking ball.
Good location on the slider on the outside corner.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Had to wait on a bit of a hanger, and that one will make the seats. By far the most foul territory in all of baseball here. It's a multi-purpose facility, at least for the next couple of years. Rickey Henderson Field, it was named earlier this season.
Just rolls off your tongue.
You know, Rickey was here for that Yankees series. He and Reggie Jackson both. So 2 former A's, 2 former New York Yankees. Had huge crowds for that series. That one hit well to right, back to the warning track. And he'll put it away. Gave it a ride, but Matt Joyce, plenty of room, and there's 2 outs. We're at the top of the 3rd and scoreless. Marwin Gonzalez, who flying out to left to start in that first inning. Hitting in the 2-hole tonight. Marwin playing first base.
Yuli had himself a rough night last night. Eventually got ejected for kicking his helmet. Greg Gibbons, the home plate umpire, promptly ejected him. Sometimes that is just an equipment fine, a violation. They can just point at it, write it up, and they get basically charged X amount of dollars for kicking the equipment. But Gibby felt that he went a little bit extra with the kicking of the helmet and maybe some of the colorful Cuban language as far as his unappreciation of the strike zone, and promptly got ejected. I think it's just it's a mental day off for him, getting Marwin a chance to go over there and play at first base.
Let's just say that the home plate umpire, he did not need an interpreter, right? Is that,
yes.
That's the fair thing to say?
Well, at home I hear it all the time about tone. I think it was the tone.
A hit on a line to center, and that will do it in the Astros visiting half of the third inning. We're scoreless.
And the A's, and it's time for our Chevy Stroh poll tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter. Root Sports SW is our Twitter handle. It's our pinned tweet. We're in the Bay Area, Oakland tonight. But what is your favorite San Francisco landmark? Alcatraz, Golden Gate Bridge, Lombard Street, Fisherman's Wharf. For those of you who visited, maybe something else, you can write in, tweet us what you think. Guys, do you have a favorite?
I do. I'm going A for Alcatraz.
That's the one thing I haven't done.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
I wanted to add this new ice cream place I found today at lunch.
Wow.
I should put that in there for my write-in candidate.
Kept that under your hat, didn't you?
No, but I really like Fisherman's Wharf. It's a great run along the water.
Yes, it is. Start at one end of the warehouses and make your way to the other. That's in there for a strike. To Josh Fegley. Bats 8th. Leads off here in the third inning. Scoreless ball game. .216 hitter. He's been 2 for 8 this season against Astro pitching. 3 home runs, just 7 runs batted in for Fegley. There's a bouncer to Bregman. He'll throw across, and there's 1 out.
The Coca-Cola Value Nights package is one of the best ballpark bargains available for select Monday through Thursday regular season games throughout the season. This offer scores you a ticket, hot dogs, soda, and popcorn, all for just $18. To purchase tickets, visit astros.com/CokeValue or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
That is not a great grandmother, but a wonderful grandmother right there, bringing her granddaughter to the game from Houston.
It's a pretty good trip.
I'd say so. It's the kind of grandmother you want.
It's good scouting on her part as far as weather.
Sometimes you roll the dice and you win. Adam Rosales batting with 1 out, an 0-1 count. Peacock has allowed just 1 hit. That was a single by Yonder Alonso in the second inning. That's high ball. You know, Peacock is a guy that you just knew that they had, as an organization, they had to love his stuff. Tough stretch for Rosales against Astros pitching this season. It's in there for a strike.
No, I think when Brad Peacock first showed up after getting traded over here, we saw the arm and we saw him touch mid-90s as a starter. Had a good 12-6 breaking ball, the occasional changeup. That slider really hadn't shown up yet, but you saw the potential there.
You remember, was it in 15? Here's the pitch. That one fouled off as he tops that down the third base line. It was at 15 that he just had so much trouble staying in the zone. It was almost as if you got the feeling he didn't really trust his stuff and was just trying to be too fine.
And you saw a brief glimpse of it 2 starts ago when he reverted back and he went 3 innings because he was having trouble locating that fastball early in the zone. When he falls behind and he has to throw a fastball for a strike in the middle part of the zone, that's when he starts to get hit.
Well, 38 pitches here with 1 out in the third. That one hit through the shift on the right side. And Marisnick will toss that one in, and the A's have their second hit of the game.
Shift is on, but you can see Rosales doing a good job of staying inside that baseball and forcing it the other way. I think that pitch also caught a little more of the plate than Brad Peacock wanted to.
And I'm a firm believer, and I know as we go back over to the top of the order, as much Astros baseball as I watch, that people are going to say, you know, the naysayers say, well, the second baseman should have been standing right there. Way more are hit up the middle and there's a shortstop right there, or a second baseman there, or hit the opposite way. The percentages are going to tell you. They wouldn't be playing it if the percentages didn't say to play it that way.
We hear a lot about out probability and things like that, and win probabilities, and the reason they're there is because the percentage of those hits off the hitter's bat are going to that particular location. And there have been numerous times with either Carlos Correa or Jose Altuve playing directly behind the pitcher where rockets have gone up the middle and they've been standing there waiting for them.
Foul ball at the plate. And interesting too, I was talking with AJ about this because I was looking at Altuve one time, and the shift was for him to shade up the middle, and he had to move to one side or the other. And I asked AJ about that. And he said, you know, you think about it, Jose's got to see he's got to see contact, and so he has to look. He's got to get one side or the other of the mound. And when a big pitcher comes over the top like that, there's a quick throw over, and he's in there safe. Rosales says, that must have been your A move. I thought that was interesting. It's little things like that you really don't think about. Tries it again.
Rosales has 4 steals on the season. And again, hate to beat this point into the ground, but the Astros catchers have been stolen on a lot, and opposing base runners have been very successful.
Well, you really got the feeling in the Boston series that they were really going to test the Astros catchers, and they did. There's a 2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. Matt Joyce goes down swinging. Bring up Chad Pender, the 2-hole hitter.
That's the traditional 12-6 breaking ball. If you're looking at a clock, that breaking ball starts at the 12 position and breaks straight down to that 6 position for the punch out.
Third strikeout of the night for Brad Peacock. That's in there for a strike. You know, strikeouts are great, but they also, I think if you had your druthers and you would rather one thing or the other, be Peacock to maybe go deeper in games, not maybe, go deeper in games. I mean, he had the 10 strikeouts, and first Astro ever to have double-digit strikeouts while working less than 5 innings. But at the same time, man, you'd love to see him give you 6.
You know, the bullpen would.
Yeah, have less pitches and fewer strikeouts.
That last start against Texas is as close as Brad Peacock has gotten to that century mark as far as pitches. He threw 96 in 4 2/3 to Kevin's point. 10 punch outs, but in 4 2/3, so in 96 pitches is quite a bit.
0-2 misses outside.
And it's much like the Lance McCullers situation. High punch out type guy. Trying to get him to work a little bit deeper into ball games to get that bullpen a little bit more rest. Allow A.J. Hinch to use it a little bit differently.
Hoping that we might see runner goes and foul back. Hoping we might see Lance get a start here before the end of this road trip. Still up in the air, nothing definitive yet. At the bottom of the third, scoreless ball game.
Yeah, things are moving in the right direction as far as guys getting healthy. A couple of guys playing catch, throwing bullpens, side action going on out here for some of these guys. And then you've also got Josh Reddick.
Fourth strikeout of the night. The Astros get it done here in the third. We go to the fourth.
In Oakland, it's the top of the fourth. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Astros for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game Ballot. Vote at astros.com/vote and catch all of the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th, live on Fox. There were some Texans in on the action trying to get fans to vote for Carlos Correa. That was Brian Cushing, I believe, on Twitter.
Nice. Share the love.
It's good to have strong friends on your side.
Altuve out ahead of that one. 79-mile-per-hour pitch there. Altuve, he was dialed up and ready to go. That's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. Well, they flied out to center field in the first, and now Gossett facing this lineup for the second time. You got Springer and Marwin to fly out in the last inning, and a swing and a miss from Altuve. That's his third strikeout of the game. They'll throw him out. 2-3 on the putout.
That was a rare 3-pitch
Yes.
punch out of Jose Altuve.
Do you like playing here? I would think it would be tough as a hitter. Well, the ball carries well here, but there's so much foul territory.
It is a little frustrating if you do just miss one, and at your home ballpark it would be in the seats and you'd have another opportunity. The hitting background is actually pretty good here. At night, at the beginning and end of the season, it can play a little heavy with the humidity, you know, coming off the bay and some of that heavy fog air coming in.
That ball landed on the second row, and no one even moved towards it. A fielder never crossed the foul line.
It's the middle of the season. That's exhausting to go that far.
It's a long way. That's inside. Oh, we called it a strike.
Yeah. I've seen that outside corner not be called for Brad Peacock, and this breaking ball up and in called.
No balls and 2 strikes. Stays alive. Top of the 4th inning.
We're seeing a lot of off-speed to right-handed hitters from Gossett.
Seagulls are back.
There's Freddie the Falcon.
He's up there. Chad Pinder comes up throwing. There's 2 away.
We got an opportunity. We're going to look at our forward spray chart. Carlos Beltran coming up as a left-handed hitter this season. Check out that spray chart. He's a little pull happy. You'll actually see a lot of switch hitters be a little pull heavy on whatever side of the plate they're on, just going out there sweeping across the plate. That's because a lot of the sliders and curve balls break down and into these hitters, and they have a tendency to turn on them. Also, all 9 of Carlos Beltran's home runs have been from the left side, and they've all been to right field.
That's in there for a strike. Beltran 4 for his last 7. Had an RBI single last night. That is a bat the Astros would love to get going. Comes into the game hitting .239. A ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, you're not seeing a lot in terms of letting it fly right now for Daniel Gossett. A lot of breaking balls, a lot of off-speed stuff. Hit to right, and Matt Joyce right in his tracks makes the play. 3.5 in the books. We're scoreless.
Area. We go to the bottom of the 4th. A lot of activity earlier with a few starting pitchers on the disabled list, including Charlie Morton, who is right now set for a minor league rehab assignment in Fresno, likely on Thursday. Everything went well for him in his bullpen. He threw 25 pitches, stopped, threw 25 more, liked the way he felt there. And Lance McCullers also threw a bullpen today. It was a little bit lighter for him. He had Alex Bregman standing in there for it. But he said everything felt normal. It's going to be very important to see how he responds, and hopefully he'll start in Seattle. Could be Saturday or Sunday. This is if all goes well. And one more thing, guys, Dallas Keuchel did play catch today, so that's the first time he's picked up a ball since being on the DL this second time around. The distance somewhere between 45 and 60 feet, so obviously he's got a few things he's got to clear as far as hurdles and just getting back before getting back on the mound for the Astros.
Oh, good news, progress and moving in the right direction. Here you see Charlie Morton.
It is good news, and a lot of what Julia's talking about, it's good to see those guys out there. The biggest question I think for the Astros is how do they feel tomorrow? It's always how that body responds to that initial reaction of throwing again.
Here's Chris Davis. Struck out to lead off in the second inning. Peacock struck out the last two hitters in the third. He's got 4 in the game. That misses inside.
Good run on that fastball at 94.
Yeah, good night to pitch tonight. 72 degrees at game time. Probably a little cooler than that now. That one skips in. It's 2 balls. Make it 2 balls and 1 strike. Chris Davis hit 42 home runs a year ago. A guy that kind of gets lost here in Oakland from time to time. That would foul back. He hit a ball, one that he's probably going to learn from and not forget for quite some time. He skied what he thought was a foul ball about 25 feet up the line on the third base side against the Yankees in that game. And he just turned and went to the dugout. The ball spun back into fair territory, and the third baseman couldn't make the play. Catcher just picked the ball up, tossed it to first base, and threw him out when he was in the dugout, basically.
That is not a good feeling. When in doubt, err on the side of hustle. It's when you go to the opposite end of the dugout from your manager.
I think he knew that. I see your point. He thought it was a foul ball. Why do you go headed to the dugout? Then I realized the ball was dropped, and he's like, where can I go at this point? So he just turned around and took a left turn. Bottom of the 4th inning. Offense has been at a premium. Both pitchers on top of their game. Daniel Gossett for the A's, Brad Peacock for the Astros, and Peacock gets his 5th strikeout.
Good fastball and a 3-2 count. We talked about that arm side run. There's a little bit of it right there. You expect that pitch to be on the outer third in a 3-2 count, but it comes running right back underneath your hands.
Yonder Alonso has one of the 2 Oakland hits tonight. He singled back in the second inning. Alonso 2nd in the American League in slugging percentage, .630. His OPS is over 1,000.
There's that last pitch, that 2-seam run on it. You can see on our Mattress Firm Supermo. You can see anticipating outside, and it runs in towards that label.
Two outs in the 4th. Fouled away. It's 0-2. Efficient night tonight for Brad Peacock. 59 pitches here with 2 outs in the 4th. .305 hitter for Yonder Alonso. First round pick of the Cincinnati Reds. 10 seasons in the big leagues. Two balls and 2 strikes. Last time out, Peacock went 4 2/3. Solid start. Would have loved to see him go deeper in that game against Texas. There's a pitch fouled off at the plate. But he did that on 3 days rest after going just 3 innings in the start before that. Struggled in that start against the Angels, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits in 3 innings of work. Just 1 run on 2 hits at 4 2/3 against Texas, and those 10 strikeouts. Alonso hanging tough. Count stays at 2-2 with 2 outs.
Coming back after 3 days, or on 3 days of rest from that rough start against the Angels to pitch against Texas. Working out of that bullpen, it helped him get through that.
Got him swinging his 6th strikeout of the night. A's go down in the 4th. We're through 4 and we're scoreless. Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Kevin Eschenfelder and Jeff Blum with you up in the booth. Julia Morales down on the field. Julia, I've got an idea for you. I've got some people messaged in. This is a good idea.
Oh no.
You should go down to the Golden Gate Bridge, rent a bike, and ride across the Golden Gate Bridge.
That is a good idea. I've run across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Ride your bike over to Sausalito.
But yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Just
I'm
trying to help.
leisurely morning. Yeah, that'd be great. It's freezing if you do that. Freezing.
Thing's like 2 miles long, isn't it?
It's 1.5 miles.
Jeez.
So if you run down and back, it's 3. But yeah, it's freezing.
Is it easy to toot your own horn, or do you have to work?
No, I'm just.
Oh. I'm just kidding, Julia.
For anyone who wants to come out, or run the Golden Gate Bridge, or walk it, or bike it. That's how far it is.
We were in St. Louis one time.
Rent a car.
We were in St. Louis one time, and I went jogging, and I ran across the bridge into Illinois, turned around and came back, just for the sake of doing it.
That's fun.
Here's Evan Gattis leading off in the 5th inning.
You guys could go run together.
I think she would embarrass me. Gattis going to get his 2nd double of the night as he cruises in to second base with a leadoff double here in the 5th. Didn't hit that one as hard as the first one, but about in the same spot.
I think I figured out why Evan swings the bat so well up here. He's so close to redwood trees and the sequoias. He's comfortable up here swinging the lumber around. Sneaking one down that left field line for another extra base hit. Good start to this inning. I'd like to see the Astros get on the board here.
Back-to-back doubles in his first 2 at-bats for Gattis. Here's Derek Fisher, who struck out back in the 2nd inning. Fisher, the 37th pick in the 2014 draft of the Astros. He was on that University of Virginia team that lost in the College World Series championship game to Vanderbilt. That misses outside. Native of Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Man, he has been solid at the plate. Got his first and second major league hit in that 6th inning against the Texas Rangers when the Astros was at a 9 spot they scored in that inning.
Yeah, that was extensive. And that was only the 2nd largest inning as far as runs are scored this season for the Astros. They had an 11-run inning.
Not even this month. Yeah, how about that? Brad Peacock. Any idea what they're talking about there?
Trying to think. He did a good job of getting through that inning last inning. A couple of punch outs. He's got 6 so far. Not too sure. It was a pretty healthy conversation. I don't think it was anything drastic or devastating.
Yonder Alonso will take it to the bag, but that'll move the runner up. So the Astros have a runner at third with 1 out.
You know, we talk about Derek Fisher and his approach, how well he's done so far early in the big leagues, but how about playing the game smart, sacrificing the AB? You're going to see him get those high fives in that dugout because a simple roll over to first base moves that runner into scoring position less than 2 outs. That is a great spot for Alex Bregman to be hitting.
Productive at bat.
Productive AB,
absolutely.
team AB.
And as a young guy, I would think everybody on that bench too sees that. You're thinking young guy, you got Josh Reddick that's going to be coming up soon. As soon as tomorrow that you got to go out there, you got to drive that run in. You got a guy out of second base in scoring position. Bregman swings through that when it's 0-1.
Could have been really selfish about the AB trying to drive that run in.
So now the A's will have to play the infield in a scoreless game here in the top of the 5th inning.
And as a left-handed hitter, when you go up there trying to move that runner, you know you're anticipating getting the head out. It doesn't mean you're trying to sacrifice yourself immediately. You're still trying to hit that ball hard.
That is the last thing the Astros wanted, a comebacker. Gaddis has to hold at third.
Yeah, especially with the infield in.
Anywhere but there.
Well, and I talk about it a lot. And the Astros had issues with it last year, and Alex Bregman's been very good with runners in scoring position throughout the course of the season. But runner at third, less than 2 outs. You're looking for a pitch that you can elevate to the outfield. You want to drive something to the outfield in order to get that run in. Sometimes you get a tough pitch to handle.
Jake Marisnick flinched on that one, and it's 0-1 with 2 outs and a runner at third base. The Astros in the 1st inning got George Springer to third base. Weren't able to get him home. Correa struck out to end the inning. He did not go. Crowd didn't like that one.
At some point, one of these Astro right-handed hitters is going to start leaning out over the plate and get a hold of one of those sliders, because Gossett has been wearing out that outside corner with it against right-handed hitters.
The 1-1 to Jake. That's outside. Pretty good looking pitch.
I was going to say, I'll take your word for it. A little bit elevated.
You think it was up? I mean, it
maybe.
Yeah, it was. Didn't look like it was much of either. Here's the 2-1. Good heater there at 91 miles per hour. It's 2-2.
It's a good pitch to hit. Jake just missed it.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Hit well to center field. Looking up, and that one is gone. Jake Marisnick, 2nd home run in as many games, and the Astros take a 2-0 lead.
Didn't miss that one.
Ooh.
Man, he's been getting a hold of some fastballs and driving them. Didn't get cheated back home. Didn't get cheated on this one either.
Well, the one yesterday was 454 feet. Tail of the tape still to come on this one, but that was a shot.
Gosh, that was a fastball that leaked over in that similar spot. That was 108 miles an hour off the bat. Estimated 440 feet off the bat of Jake Marisnick.
It's nearly 900 feet of home runs in the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's above the camera well. Man. Jake's a big, tall kid, 6'5", creating all kinds of leverage. But baseball's all about making adjustments and taking advantage of mistakes. Did a great job on that one.
Until you see him up close, you don't realize just how big he is.
And then you see him run.
Yeah, he's a big man. Jake Marisnick.
And again, against right-handed pitching.
How about some thump out of the 9-hole, too, and turn it over to the top of the order.
Good spot to hit for Astro hitters this season.
So the Astros strike first, 2-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. And George Springer swung him one up in his eyes. He strikes out. But the Astros get a 2-run home run, a big, big fly from Jake Marisnick, and they lead 2-0. Home run, and the Astros lead it 2-0. Talk about a guy's barreling up some baseballs. 440 plus feet on that home run. Now Peacock working here in the 5th with that 2-0 lead and an 0-1 count on Ryan Healy. He punched out back in the 2nd inning. Peacock has struck out 4 of the last 5 Oakland Athletics he's faced. Brad drafted by Washington, made his major league debut as a National, got traded back over to the A's, or to the A's I should say. Never pitched in the big leagues with Oakland, got traded to Houston. Went sky to right. Springer says no problem, he's got it, and there's one away. Our league leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. I think run differential is a real good barometer indicator as to how good you are. And look at that.
You have to look at that because that is a monster number for the Houston Astros, 108. And it was interesting last year. We talked about you can take the analytics and you can take that run differential and figure out where these guys are going to be as far as standings are concerned. And the Rangers' run differential for being in first place in the American League West last year was very low because they were so good at winning one-run games. The Astros just go out there and pummel people.
That's where you were wondering. You know, it was good for the Rangers. If you were wondering, it could be a house of cards because it's something that can go one way or the other very quickly. And to their credit, hey, they won the games, but they were close games, and they got a lot of miracle comebacks. A lot of guys made plays when they needed to. But that's one of those where you wonder if you can sustain that. And the Astros this year, remember Toronto a couple of seasons ago, they just were ridiculous as far as their run differential. Now, whether it translates into the playoffs, we'll see. But Hoping we'll see. But right now they are just, even with the tough homestand, going 3-6 on the homestand, still have an 11-game lead. And that's depending on what Texas does tonight.
Got on the side of that slider a little bit, almost got the swing and miss and a hit by pitch all at once.
We saw that twice the other night. Remember that?
Yeah, that was crazy. That's wiffle ball type stuff.
Two guys get hit by the pitch on a swing.
This is not an awful pitch. He doesn't hit his location, but over the meat of the plate, just not getting the call.
Brugman flying out his last at bat. Correa has to back up on this with a strong arm. Wow. That was taking a step back. Wasn't in the hole, but he was on the outfield grass.
Sometimes when we talk about outfielders, the toughest play is the one hit right at you, much like infielders too. If this ball hit right at Carlos Correa, might have anticipated the ball not hit as hard. But when he recognized it was a little bit, you could see him take that little bit of a drop step with the left foot to create a little bit longer hop and allow him to pick it, which was a nice play. But in doing so, it's very tough to get your feet back in position to make a strong throw like he did. But when you're a talent like Carlos Correa, sometimes you get the out and make it look easy.
Yeah, you can fix that.
Well, great arms will fix anything.
Here's Josh Phegley. I really enjoyed, talk to you about it, and hearing Adam Everett talk about he goes around and works with these young players and these young infielders in the Astros organization, and talking about footwork and things like that. And, putting yourself in the best position to make that play, not just to field the baseball, but when you're fielding the baseball and put yourself in a position to make the throw.
No, absolutely. We had a chance to talk to Perry Hill, a guy I worked with when I was young in my career. He talked about footwork, and what you're doing with the footwork is to create soft hands, but it's also to get yourself in a good position to make a strong throw to first.
He's in Tampa now, right?
Miami.
Right state, wrong city.
Yes.
Astros on top 2-0. Josh Phegley grounded out back in the third inning. It has been a struggle for him coming into this game, hitting just .216. Peacock yanks that one outside.
He might be a little disappointed with himself. He had a chance in an 0-2 count to put away Phegley and has missed bad.
It's a 2-2 pitch on the 78th pitch of the night, and he gets Phegley swinging. His 7th strikeout of the night. We are through 5, and the Astros lead it 2-0.
Nothing. We go to the 6th. And time to reveal the winner of tonight's Chevy Stroh poll. Lots of votes coming in as we asked you what's your favorite San Francisco landmark. 42% for Golden Gate Bridge. Thanks again for voting our poll. Remember to follow us at Root Sports SW. If you're heading out and want to visit the Golden Gate Bridge, bring a hoodie. That's my pro tip.
The voice of experience.
I know, it's freezing up there, but it's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
San Francisco's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a fun city. I took a boat ride out there. We had an off day. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I actually took a boat ride straight out underneath that thing. Pretty cool.
Marwin Gonzalez leading it off here in the 6th inning. And Marwin puts a single right back up the middle. Well placed for Marwin Gonzalez, and the leadoff man is aboard here in the 6th. Is that you?
No, that's the red fleet. You kidding me? I wouldn't get on the red boat. Take the blue and gold fleet.
For those who do not know and wondering what he's talking about.
Took the same route.
That is, I think that boat is not red, it's cardinal and white.
Yeah, that's a terrible combination.
Coming from a man who went to school across, not that bridge, but close.
Yeah. In
Berkeley, that is, as they say, them's is fighting words, but they don't say that here. They would say something else. I'm not sure what.
Julia's laughing because she was like, I just stand up paddleboard through that thing. I wouldn't even take a boat. Calling me lazy again.
Yeah, see, that's what she would do that, but she would complain about being cold the whole time. Jose Altuve 0 for 2, a rare 0 for here in this yard. His 3rd at bat. Struck out in the 4th inning. You talk about rare, a rare 3-pitch strikeout for Jose Altuve. That one hit to right, hit hard, but Matt Joyce there to make that play.
I was going to say, usually Jose Altuve takes it out on the baseball after having an AB like he did. He did, just poorly located, just hitting it to the left of Matt Joyce, but a good job of staying behind that baseball and driving it the other way. Joyce just in the right spot to make a casual jogging catch on it.
Here's Carlos Correa, struck out in the 1st and grounded out in the 4th inning. Astros with just 5 hits tonight. One of those 5, though, left the building. Jake Marisnick, a 2-run home run. That's the difference. Marisnick with his 9th home run of the year. That coming in the 5th inning. That's in there for a strike. That is rocketed to center field. Coming over and making the catch is Brugman. He'll throw back into first, but Marwin able to get back in safely. That ball was stung.
You can see the Astros adjusting to what Gossett is bringing. A couple of back-to-back hit rockets off the bat of Altuve and Correa. Good piece of hitting, trying to tail it into that right center field gap. Brugman got a good jump, stayed with it. Just no luck.
There's Beltran. With Marwin at first base, led off the inning with a single here in the 6th. Altuve fly to right. Correa with the fly out or the line out to center field. 4 balls, 1 strike.
So Marisnick hit a home run at 108.5 miles an hour off the bat. That's the 2nd hardest hit ball in this game behind Carlos Correa's line out right there at 109.2.
That ball was stung.
I didn't call you a liar.
Yeah, that ball was hit. And that's when you're thinking Gossett gets through this 6th inning. Bob Melvin, you thinking maybe get some better swings on my starting pitcher, but that said, he's made 1 mistake tonight.
Well, after the first start from Gossett, where he gave up 7 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings, Bob Melvin's got to be pretty happy with what he's seen against this offense of the Houston Astros.
Absolutely. This will be the 86th pitch of the night. Swing and a miss by Beltran, and that'll do it. After 5 1/2, 2-run homer, all the scoring in this one, and the Astros lead 2-0.
Astros. The Astros will be celebrating Jeff Bagwell's election into the Hall of Fame throughout the 2017 season. A special 5-game ticket package is now available and includes tickets to the Bagwell Hall of Fame weekend in August and access to the exclusive Bagwell-themed giveaways. Visit astros.com/miniplans for more info. Kevin.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You remember last time you and I worked together, a Baggy came up and he spent a couple innings with us up in the booth.
Yeah, it was great.
On Root Sports, we're going to have a special coming up on his road to Cooperstown as well. Don't exactly know when that'll be coming out, but we're working on it.
You get to go.
I'm going to Cooperstown. Here's another thing, too, though. I talked to her this afternoon, by the way. I want to spend some time in his hometown as well in Connecticut.
Nice.
I did that in 1999 when he was in the All-Star game in Boston. And spent some time with his mom, Jan. Very, very sweet lady. And I'm going to go up and do some interviews in his hometown. Trying to round up some high school coaches and teammates and things like that.
No, that'll be good.
Yeah, she's a wonderful lady, and I had talked to her a couple of weeks ago about all this. She called me back, and she had phone numbers of everyone. And
she's hooking you up with the contact list, huh?
She absolutely is. She's going to be my co-producer on this.
I like it.
Adam Rosales, a 9-hole hitter. He singled back in the 3rd inning. Boy, Brad Peacock working well here in the 6th. 2-2. That's strike 3. 8th strikeout for Brad Peacock.
We've seen that fastball anywhere from 91 to 94, but really creating good movement coming back over the plate right there. You could see Rosales had given up on it and then recognized it came back over the plate. All you can do is tip your cap when a pitcher makes a pitch on you like that.
He struck out 6 of the last 9 batters he's faced. Turn it over to the top of the order, and Matt Joyce, who's popped out to 3rd and punched out. Swings over the top of that one. Joyce hitting .356 here in the month of June. Well, he was struggling. Starting at the end of May 31st, he had a .191 average. Just 1 for 4 in his career against Brad Peacock coming into this game, making him 1 for 6 now. Peacock working ahead again, 0-2. It's the first of a 7-game road trip, 4 here in Oakland. And then on to Seattle for a 3-game series at Safeco Field. One line down the right field line. This will be extra bases for Matt Joyce. Stand-up double with 1 out here in the 6th inning.
First time we've seen an Oakland A's hitter get past first base. Did a good job of staying on that curveball down. Hooked it into that right field corner. This is the first time we've actually seen maybe Brad Peacock pitching out of a little bit of stress, having a runner in scoring position now.
Does have a 2-run lead. 2-5-0 for Houston. 0-3-0 for the Oakland Athletics. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jake Marisnick's 2-run home run, all the scoring thus far. Chad Pinder, ground out to strikeout, steps in and swings through that one at 83 miles an hour. That's slider. This.
We talked about Peacock's ability to create swing and miss with that slider, and this is a great time for it with a runner in scoring position.
Misses there. Good take from Chad Pinder. 88 pitches tonight for Brad Peacock.
But up until this point, pretty much maybe 85 leisurely pitches coming in.
That's in there for a strike, 1-2. You get the feeling he's just worked ahead. It seems like every time you look up, it's 1-2 or 0-2. A lot easier to pitch, I would imagine, just like that. That misses, and the count goes even at 2-2. Yonder Alonso had a single in the second. Adam Rosales with a one-out single in the third, and now Matt Joyce with a one-out double here in the sixth. That is all that Brad Peacock has allowed tonight.
Gosh, those are good
Just
pitches.
missed.
He's not getting that outside corner with his slider from the home plate umpire, Bill Welke. Not much movement from that glove of Evan Gattis either.
Base open, one out, but Lowry waits on deck. And he walked him. That is the first walk of the night issued by Brad Peacock.
First walk in this ball game, period.
And Brent Strom will make his way out to the mound.
See that bullpen start to move a little bit. It's quite the haul for Brent Strom to get all the way out there to the mound.
He's not going to have to do his cardio today, that's for sure. He'll get it in tonight, even though this is just his first trip out there.
Yeah, he would like for this to be his only trip out there. But half of that shot clock is worn off by the time he gets onto the mound. Again, just slowing Peacock down here in a little bit more stressful situation than we've seen him all game. Maybe talk a little bit about mechanics. Sometimes pitchers have a tendency to rush to home plate and that arm drags behind. They lose that release point. But maybe also tell him he doesn't have to be too fine with that slider. He's got such good movement on it. He doesn't have to dance around the edges. He can let the movement create the swing and miss.
You can't make a mistake to this guy with two runners on. There's Jed Lowry. He's got 10 extra base hits here in the month of June alone. 295 hitter. Lowry's just one of those guys. He's never going to bowl you over, but at the same time, he's just going to be steady as she goes. Very consistent player. Want to know?
Puts together quality ABs. Understands the situation.
Rosales led off the inning. Got caught looking. And Matt Joyce followed with a double. He's at second. Chad Pinder just walked. That one ripped foul. Look out.
Good location on that slider. Looked like Jed Lowry might have been sitting on it. But again, when you place it where he did on that inner third and let him just yank it foul for a strike, still pitch with a purpose, even if it creates a foul ball.
Will Harris has joined Tony Sipp warming up in the Astros bullpen. One ball, one strike, one out. 2 men on in a 2-0 game. That one hit into the gap in right center field. Springer cuts it off, throws it back in. 1 run scores. The throw to the plate, and he is
Nice.
out. What a relay. Chad Pinder gunned down at the plate on an RBI double by Jed Lowry.
That's impressive. Yes, it's a fundamentally sound play, getting that relay in from Carlos Correa, but sometimes the Houston Astros, their athleticism can overwhelm the game. And that's exactly what happened right here. George Springer keeping this ball from going to the wall, cuts it off, but look at how quickly he gets it back in.
And a one-hop throw, and then a laser.
That was special. Good catch and tag by Evan Gattis. Pinder's looking up like, where did that come from?
Or how do you get it through the outfield without hitting it over the fence? That's something last year in this. This is, I don't study everybody's defensive outfielders, but is there a better defensive outfield? And this is without Josh Reddick.
We saw Boston at home. They have a very good outfield, but I agree with you. There might be a question about blocking the plate. Did Evan Gattis get in the way of the runner at home plate before he had the ball? See how he's in front of the ball, not giving a sliding lane, so to speak, in front of home plate? Because the new rules, which are really awesome, and nobody can understand, and every umpire is open to interpretation of that rule, is whether or not the catcher can be in front of home plate without the ball. And apparently Bill Welke had a pretty good explanation and conveyed that to Bob Melvin, but I believe that's the question.
Well, now Peacock trying to clean up this inning. Still a runner in scoring position, and now a one-run game. Something's up out right field.
Baseball.
Okay.
There's so much foul territory here at Oakland Coliseum that they have the bullpen mounds in that foul territory, and they're angled perfectly to where if a ball gets past the catcher, it ends up in fair territory.
What is it about Bay Area bullpens? They forgot the ones when they built the stadium in San Francisco, and they're basically in the same spot. So Chris Davis, the dangerous Chris Davis at the plate. He has struck out both at bats tonight. Struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. He really opens up on that front foot, doesn't he?
And Chris Davis is interesting. He's one of those guys that opens up. We call it stepping in the bucket when that front foot steps away from home plate. Chris Davis does that, yet he'll let the ball travel and launch it out to right field. He's got very good opposite field power.
It seems like he would have trouble getting to the pitch on the outer third.
Not sure if he wanted to fall this far behind.
I don't know about that either. I mean, there's one thing of picking your poison here because Yonder Alonso is on deck.
Arguably their best hitter in the lineup.
And you got Chris Davis up here who's punched out his first two at bats, and he walks him on 4 pitches. Now the next pitch will be the 100th for Brad Peacock, if in fact, though there will not be a next pitch. 99 pitch night tonight for Brad Peacock, and he will leave with 2 runners on. Gives way to Will Harris, makes his way to the mound. And we'll take a break. 2-1 Astros. On top, but the A's threatening here in the 6th inning, and Will Harris comes on for the 28th time this season.
See the numbers on Will Harris. Very good ERA, a very good whip, under 1 fastball, 92 to 95, has a little bit of natural cut to it. Also has that 12-6 hammer to put guys away for the high strikeout percentage. Took the loss last time he was out there on the 16th against Boston, going an inning, giving up 1 hit. 1 earned run, also had a punch out. Only threw 11 pitches.
First pitch he threw was to Mookie Betts, and he deposited in Crawford boxes.
That was when Mookie stepped out over the plate and got around that cutter.
0-1 to Yonder Alonso. This is probably the last man in this lineup you want to be facing in this situation. The Astros leading 2-1. They've thrown a runner out at the plate in this inning. Chris Davis walked. He's at first. Jed Lowry doubled. He's at second. That one bounces in, and a good block by Evan Gattis. That was about a 55-footer. Brad Peacock looking on, 5 2/3. Those are his base runners on right now.
He would love to see Will Harris get out of this, but he's also expecting a baby here relatively soon. He's got a lot on his mind.
And totally speculating, but we saw between innings when he came off and they were discussing with him, and you wonder.
That could have been a conversation.
It could have been something.
Yeah.
It could have been something to the effect that, what do you want to do? And that's total. We have not heard anything. It's just
yeah, we know that they're expecting
right.
a child, but we don't know if that was a conversation.
2-1 pitch to Yonder Alonso. Now the bat blows up. Altuve will throw him out at first. And that'll do it for the A's. But they get a run. It's 2-1 at the end of 6.
Two-1 Astros. And time for Name That Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We give you clues and then you tweet us your best guess. We'll tell you who the answer is later. It's Athletics Astros is your first clue. 15-time All-Star and American League MVP.
Please.
Does Plummer already know it?
15-time All-Star. You guys are reaching, huh?
Now the last clue kind of throws me a little bit, but I think I know who it is. It's not Brad Peacock, who had a very nice evening tonight. Pitch to Evan Gattis. That's outside a ball. Brad Peacock, 5 2/3, 4 hits, just 1 earned run, walked a couple and struck out 8. Gattis 2 for 2. He's had 2 doubles tonight, both basically in the same spot down the left field line. Puts a wrinkle in that one, and it's 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes. How about young Daniel Gossett bouncing back nicely from his major league debut when he went 3 1/3 and gave up 6 earned runs.
And for me, it's been the off-speed pitches, staying away from these right-handed hitters. He's made a couple of mistakes with fastballs. Gattis has got him for a couple of doubles, and Marisnik with that bomb to center field. But other than that, he's been doing a good job staying away from barrels on the outside corner.
You could make the argument Gattis has seen him as well as anybody. That one hit just about to the same spot Davis over, and this time makes the running grab. He's wearing out that area right there.
Brad Peacock had himself a very good evening here with the start. Talked about the bounce back start where he got 10 punch outs in less than 5 innings. Here he gets 8 punch outs. The breaking ball was actually working extremely well alongside that slider we know that he has. Good run on the arm side fastball. Got a little help from his defense also on that Jed Lowry double to enable him to get deeper in this ball game and qualify for the W if the Astros are able to push us across as a win.
Second longest outing of the season for Brad Peacock. He had worked 6 innings at Arlington in a 7-2 win back on June 4th. It's 5 2/3 tonight. That misses the ball. It's 1-1. Derek Fisher 0 for 2 tonight. Tomorrow the Astros more than likely will make a roster move. It's Josh Reddick coming off the 7-day concussion disabled list. Probably find out late in the day tomorrow, late in the afternoon, early in the afternoon, as to what that move will be. A couple of options, but this young man, albeit a very, very small sample sizes, look like he knows what he's doing at the plate.
Good approach, good command of the strike zone. Moved a runner in this game, knows how to play it. Hasn't been really tested out in the outfield for me. I know he's a very good athlete. We've seen him run well. We had a chance to see him in spring training make some pretty good plays out in the outfield. Actually showed a pretty good arm.
Well, he made that play, it was in the Boston series. Remember, he kind of went into that opening area there at Minute Maid Park, which is without question to me the most difficult spot. You know, my vast knowledge of playing outfield in the big leagues, the most difficult spot to play at Minute Maid Park. And there's a strikeout. So 2 away for Alex Bregman.
Take a look at that pitch under Andy Anderson strike zone. Staying down.
Just a dart right there.
That's what happens when you get a guy thinking slider and you throw him a fastball. Lock him up.
Alex Bregman 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. Did you notice that when you went the second time through in your rookie season with Montreal, the guys would change things up a little bit from where you had seen them the first time through?
Oh yeah, back when I got called up, you got tested with the fastball, and you got tested in with the fastball, which I was very grateful for.
That was
I could hit the fastball. I was very lucky to have quick hands on both sides of the plate, and they tested me early, and I was able to launch a couple and get those guys out of there. But it was a changeup that proved to be the challenge for me for both sides of the plate. So I had to adjust where I stood in the box. It wasn't my swing that I was overly worried about. I got closer to the plate and I moved up towards the pitcher. I used to be back on that back line of the batter's box, but I eventually moved up in order to cut off the break and get to the changeup before it fell out of the zone.
That one hammered to right center field. It'll shoot the gap. Bregman heading for second base, and he'll be in with a 2-base hit. 2-out double for Alex Bregman, his first hit of the night. It'll bring up the man who has driven in both Astro runs, Jake Marisnick, but I don't think he's going to be facing tonight's starting pitcher, Daniel Gossett. Bob Melvin making his way out to the mound.
Good piece of hitting. Go with what they give you. Fastball up, out, over the plate. Pretty easy decision for the swing of Alex Bregman.
Young man pitched well. Astros lead 2-1.
Astros holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Oakland A's, and MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Astros baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Astros home screen icons and app features, as well as a game day live game video highlights, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. New pitcher on the mound for the Oakland A's is Liam Hendricks.
30th appearance for Hendricks, 3-1 with that 3.86 ERA, and he is a guy that can rush it up there. 41 punch-outs in 30 1/3. In his 30th appearance, right-hander in relief, Daniel Gossett really pitched well in this game. Misses a ball. Astros lead at 2-0 on a 2-1, I beg your pardon, on a 2-run home run by Jake Marisnick. A's answered with a run in the 6th inning. Bregman leads away from second base. It's 2-0. Springer waits on deck. Marisnick looking to do some damage here or turn it over to the top of the order. The top of the 7th inning. Astros, who have won 11 of their last 12 over the Oakland Athletics, 4 of their last 5 here. 6 in a row, I beg your pardon, here. As we fouled back and into the seats. You know, in that 6-game winning streak for the Astros in Oakland, it hasn't even been close.
Just missed it. Got himself in a hitter's count, 2-0, and got the pitch he was looking for.
You hear guys say middle, middle. That was middle, middle. 6-game winning streak here. The Astros have really pitched better than they've hit. They've averaged 6 runs per game, but they have held Oakland at less than 3 and a 174 team batting average.
Ooh.
Trying to keep Bregman close at second base.
That was really a fantastic move to nobody covering. Pitchers, man.
You crack me up.
Well, who's he going to pick off? Sorry, just minor pet peeve. The spin move.
So what you're
to nobody
saying
at
is,
the back.
so what you're saying is, when somebody goes, well, he's trying to keep him close at second base in case they have a play at the plate on a single. That's just.
Who's he throwing to? Casper?
Claude Rains played the invisible man.
Well, Claude is covering second on that spin move right there.
Swing and a miss on Marisnick. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, sorry. It's just personal opinion.
It happens.
The spin move, they took away the pickoff to third base, so why not take away that one? But when you spin, and you kind of got to laugh when you're a runner and you turn and you look back at second base and there's nobody there.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at you.
People often do.
For being so upset about it. That is ball 4. That was a good at-bat for Jake Marisnick. He'll take a base, and now there's runners at first and second for George Springer.
Now you're creating the opportunity for a big inning. 2-out Lightning with the Jake Marisnick home run. Back in the 5th, an opportunity for George Springer in the top part of this lineup to do some 2-out damage.
The only time the Astros have had more than 1 hit in an inning was in the 5th when they had the 2-run home run. It was a double by Gaddis and then a 2-out 2-run home run by Marisnick. Now they have 2 on, 2 outs. In the top of the order, George Springer, who is 1 for 3. Singled in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss. What's going on here? They call for time?
I would imagine.
Well, but it almost looked like the home plate umpire came out around before Fegley ever said anything to him.
Anytime you have and we know the Astros are developing a reputation with Carlos Beltran in their dugout of being able to pick signs at second base. And anytime a pitcher sees a hitter take an aggressive swing on a pitch early in the count, they immediately assume that the runner at second base is relaying the signs.
Guys,
a little bit of a paranoia.
Very closely. And you ever notice how when Beltran is in the club, anytime he's in the dugout, we take a shot of him. There's always guys around him, and they're not talking. He is. They are listening and hanging on the words. They say
it is smart. Be around that guy.
That's why the man upstairs gave you two ears and one mouth. You listen to guys like that. And look who's next to him. Altuve and Correa. They do throw back, and they got him. They pick Bregman at second base, and that'll end the inning. We stretch here in Oakland. It's 2-1 Houston. As we take a look at it, the Astros on top 2-1. Brad Peacock, solid night tonight. 5 2/3, gave up that one run on 4 hits. Jake Marisnick has been the offense tonight for the Astros. A 2-run home run. Nothing cheap about that one. He pulled out the driver and hit that one a ton.
Oh, that was a good one. 440, 442. Swinging the bat well.
Ron Healy will lead it off here in the 7th inning. Very good night tonight for young Daniel Gossett. 6 2/3 for him. 2 earned runs, 6 hits, struck out 6 Astros. He allowed the 1 home run. That's a difference in the game right now. Jed Lowry with an RBI double for the A's. That's how Oakland has gotten on the board. We're at the bottom of the 7th inning. You see Ron Healy, 0 for 2, struck out in the 2nd inning. Flew out to center field in the 5th. Will Harris, who came in with 2 outs back in the 6th inning, continuing to work here in the 7th. Will Harris tying Michael Feliz for the most appearances this season. Fouled off on the right side. Still time to get on that Astro Foundation charity benefiting USO Houston and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Houston. Astros.com/charity game. Still some of those VIP bags remaining. $300. Be a part of that. Healy swinging a miss, and he strikes out to start here in the 7th. He's 0 for 3.
Can you call that the MC hammer here in Oakland? Because that was a nasty,
pretty nasty
hammer from Will Harris.
He didn't come around the ballpark anymore, does he?
He was next door during that Golden State run this year.
Oracle Arena, for those who don't know, is in the same parking lot, just literally right outside the door here of Rickey Henderson Field at Oakland Coliseum, a building that has had many, many names over the years.
Finally gave up and just gave it to Rickey.
Rickey will take it too.
Yes, he will.
Scott Axford warming up in the A's bullpen. Fouled back into the net. The 1-2 pitch to Brugman. Did he? Yes, he did. So his third base umpire, Mike Everett. Crew chief rings him up.
Welcome to the show, Jacob.
That's about as borderline as it gets. We'll take it. Will Harris with his second strikeout. So now pinch hitter for the Oakland Athletics. His Vogt will come in to pinch hit for Josh Fagley. Well, Stephen Vogt, 2 for 12 against Astro pitching this season. Got the 4 home runs and 19 runs batted in with that .219 average. Gets an at bat here in the 7th. Looking to do some damage. His team down a run and running out of outs. Astros lead 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Vogt is 2 for 5 off Will Harris with a single and a double.
In a manager's meeting, those numbers I know are discussed before the game. If we're in this situation against pitcher A, you want to go with, option B off the bench because he's got these numbers against that pitcher.
I think that's what you don't hear it all that often, but managers are managing. Good managers are managing 2 to 3 innings ahead. And you're right, they will anticipate later in the game if it's a tight situation, and most of the guys on the bench will understand too. Much like I did, or Jose Cruz Jr. We would anticipate if this guy's coming in the game, I get him. If this guy comes in, you're going to get him. And you kind of work yourself into a rhythm with the manager, trying to understand where you're going to go in and help that ball club out.
A longtime manager here in Oakland, Art Howe, he's a good friend of mine. It just never ceased to amaze me to sit and watch a game with Art and just to see how he would be 3 hitters ahead. And my head is spinning, and he's thinking, well, you got to do this because you got this guy on deck, and he's going to bring this guy in. It's amazing how they can think like that and think so far ahead. But that's why you're a manager and not a head coach.
Yeah, A.J. Hinch is very good about that. He'll even take it as far as he will understand which guys out of the bullpen he's going to bring in, and he'll explain to them which section of the lineup he anticipates using them in. If they get late in ball games and it's a 3-4-5 type guy, he'll go up to Will Harris and say, hey, if we're in the 7th inning and I got 3-4-5 up there, you're going to be my guy. So these guys, it's good for them because they can anticipate the situations they might find themselves in.
So a 2-out walk to Stephen Vogt brings up the 9-hole hitter, Adam Rosales, who has one of Oakland's hits tonight. He had a single in the 3rd inning, struck out looking in the 6th. Harrison, his 2nd inning of work. He got the 3rd out in the 6th and now working here in the 7th. Rosales just a .239 hitter. Tying run at first base. Swing and a miss and a healthy cut. It's 0-2. Just flat beat him upstairs.
Yeah, he got one to hit. He tried to unleash just that last little bit of cut away from the barrel.
Thought that ball was up more than it was. It was not a bad hitter's pitch. 0-2 with 2 outs and a man on. Pulled a string and got him swinging. That'll retire the side in the 7th inning. Good job by Will Harris. It's 2-1 Astros.
Time to name that Astro. Brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We gave you 3 clues. Athletics Astros 15-time All-Star AL MVP. Your Astro is Nellie Fox, the great Nellie Fox.
Kansas City Athletic.
Yeah, that's going way back. Deceptive.
Ooh,
it's really sneaky like that. So it's not Miguel Tejada.
Or Joe Morgan. There's George Springer to lead it off here. He will face John Axford, the veteran, into work here in the 8th. Big breaking ball misses. That's ball 1.
Apparently the move is to go off speed as Stephen Vogt stays behind home plate after pinch hitting for Fagley. He'll be working with John Axford. Has a very good fastball, 95+ miles an hour. You just saw the breaking ball. Also has a cut fastball at 92. Last time he was out there was on the 15th against New York. Actually earned the blown save going a 1/3 of an inning. Gave up 1 earned run on a home run.
Well, he has been around a while. The Astros have seen a lot of him, not this Astros team, but the days of the National League Central when he was a Milwaukee Brewer.
And some decorative facial hair.
Yes, he did. It's
this is toned down a little bit just with a standard beard.
Didn't he used to
work the Raleigh
fingers,
yeah.
Which would be so apropos here. That would hit well to right center, going back, looking up, and that ball is gone. Crushed to right center field, and George Springer, his 20th home run of the season, and the Astros take a 3-1 lead.
Would have been too bad to see that with 2 runners on.
No kidding.
The inning before, Alex Bregman getting picked off. Of course, George Springer steps up and hits a bomb. Back-to-back outings now for John Axford that he's seen a ball leave the ballpark. That ball pretty well struck going the opposite field. You know what we call that here? Oppo Taco.
Springer makes it a 3-1 game, gets that run back. All the Astros offense, all their scoring has come on home runs tonight. 2-run homer by Marisnick, solo shot to lead off the 8th here by George Springer. Now Marwin with nobody on and nobody out. Marwin singled back in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. Axford drops that breaking ball in. It's 0-2. Well, you haven't seen Many fastballs tonight from any of these Oakland pitchers. Liam Hendricks, the exception. He came in for that brief stint back in that last inning. But a lot of breaking stuff tonight. Off speed. Arwin able to hold up. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, we visited with George before the game in the clubhouse. And had a couple bats in his hands, and you know, for a big, strong guy like that, he swings relatively light bat.
Yeah, it's about 33 and a half, about 31 or 30 and a half ounces.
That bat hit speed.
But that's exactly right.
Got it through the zone in a hurry that time. The baseball paid.
Is his energy level not at like 11 and 12 on a scale of 1 to 10? The guy is constantly excited.
But I love it. I mean, you think about it. It's hard to do when you play 162 games, and I get it. Everybody goes to work every day, but it is a grind over a 6-month period.
We landed at 5 a.m. Houston time, and it's optional BP, and he's wandering around yelling at people, talking to us.
It was a late night last night. We took off in Houston about 1 o'clock in the morning and got here, I guess it would be the equivalent about 5:30 Central Time. Plummer got his 6 a.m. jog in this morning.
Yeah, between the sheets.
3-1, Astros on top. Marwin right back up the middle. Axford able to stab that one and throw him out. Jose Altuve, an 0 for 3 night for Jose. Those have been few and far between on the road in general, particularly in this building. Coming into this game, Jose Altuve is a .359 hitter at the Oakland Coliseum. You ask him his favorite ballpark to hit in, this is it. What's going on?
Second baseman was over there talking to the first base umpire.
Well, Chad Pinder handed him something, and I guess he threw. Whatever it wasn't important. I think he could have put it in his back pocket.
What just happened?
I have
right
no
there?
idea.
There's so many things. Hey, I found this for you. I want you to have it.
It's a little something.
Timeout.
A little something to give you.
He just chucked it.
Oh, like I was saying, .359 is career average here at the Oakland Coliseum. It's going to be a tough play. Tosses it over with the glove, and Axford. That was very well done by Yonder Alonso. Didn't have time for the transfer.
Yeah, this is really all you can do. And I think the reason Yonder went with that glove flip is understanding that Altuve is going to make it a close play. If you're trying to make that transfer, maybe a half step leads to him being safe.
Last time up, Carlos Correa flied out to center field. Actually, he had a line drive that was 109 miles per hour off the bat to center.
Best was coming back to the dugout with your teammates, with Jose Vizcaíno, and he would say, "Lummy, that was a bullet." Darn right it was. 109 off the bat.
What a great teammate.
He was phenomenal. You talk about a versatile player.
And one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet.
Yeah. Astros drafted his son.
Oh, did they?
I think last year.
Yep, that's right. I forgot about that. Jose Vizcaíno. Carlos Correa. That's inside. Nearly got him. Got him off the plate. It's 2-0. But Jose he was one of those guys, Vizcaíno he reminded me a lot of Bill Spires. He could do a lot of everything, and he did a lot of everything really, really well.
That was the thing, is he did a lot of things, like you said, very well.
Go back years before that, it was Denny Walling, a guy, that left-handed bat that could come off the bench. I know it's going back a little ways for some Astro fans. It's in there for a strike.
That's a cut fastball in the inside corner. Man, missed his spot a little bit, but got away with it. As a hitter, you just tip your cap and say, okay, the count's 2-1. Let's move on. Staying on that inside third. Good look at it on our MD Anderson strike zone.
It was in there for a strike. Two balls and 2 strikes. This is where the cat and mouse game between the pitcher and the hitter comes in. You know you got a very good hitter at the plate. You made him look bad on that swing. Do you go back to that knowing that he's going to adjust to that, or do you change it up knowing that you just made him look bad on the swing?
No, that's a very good point. And we've seen Carlos Correa growing up a little bit, adjusting pitch to pitch, and the front shoulder went flying on that breaking ball. But like you said, you know he's going to make the adjustment and not let that happen again.
So the count goes full with 2 outs. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. John Axford, the 3rd pitcher of the night tonight, after Daniel Gossett went 6 2/3 in his 2nd major league start tonight for the A's. Astros leading at 3-1. Top half of the 8th inning. Man, that one hit into the netting. This is a ballpark that doesn't have the netting extended all the way around. I love that at Minute Maid Park.
Me too. I'm a big fan of it.
That goes back, that to me, that is the one day we're going to look back. It's going to be like seatbelts and smoking on airplanes.
Yeah.
Just to think that, how did we ever not have that? They'll do the 3-2 again. Missed outside, ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Carlos Correa. Bring up Carlos Beltran. George Springer led off the 8th with a solo home run. Shot to right center field. All 9 of Beltran's long balls this season have come hitting left-handed. Outside corner in for a strike, 0-1. Beltran 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out in the 6th inning. His last at bat, that ball is hit the right side, but into the shift, and they'll throw him out easily, and that'll retire the side in the 8th. But George Springer, his 20th home run of the season, gives the Astros a 3-1 lead. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. A beautiful look East Bay here, where we are in Oakland, California tonight. The Astros on top of the Oakland Athletics 3-1, 3-7-0 for the Astros, limiting Oakland to just 1 run on 4 hits tonight. Chris Davinsky gets the call for Houston.
Devo on the mound. Last time he was out there was on the 18th against Boston. He went 2/3 of an inning. Did a good job. Got 1 punch out. Only threw 6 pitches.
Is that the COD right there?
That might have been a little bit of the slider to begin with.
4-3 record. He's worked 40 2/3 innings. ERA of 2.66 and that sub-1 whip at 0.86. It's in there for a strike. Working ahead 0-2. Matt Joyce had the double. He ended up scoring the 1 run tonight for the Oakland Athletics. On that play, Chad Pinter, who had walked, that misses a ball 1-2. In that 6th inning, Matt Joyce doubled, then Pinter walked to have runners at first and second. Lowry had an RBI double that scored Joyce, but Pinter was gunned down at the plate on a 9-6-2 putout. Great relay. That's strike 3 called. So Devo starts off the 8th inning.
Working the inside corner and then just throw that COD faded in there. Good movement. Nicely done by Devo.
So here's Pinder. Grounded out in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, walked in the 6th, and he was the man that I mentioned was gunned down at the plate. Ball that was hit into the gap, and Springer cut it off in the gap. Made an off-balance throw back and a strong throw to Correa, who gunned him down at the plate trying to score from first base on, at the time, what would have been the tying run. Instead kept it at a 2-1 game. Springer with the solo home run in the 7th, and now it is a 3-1 game. I said the 7th, the 8th inning for Springer's home run. Springer with his 20th home run of the season tonight.
Leadoff hitter.
Yep. In mid-June. That one fouled back. Bottom of the 8th. Outside a ball. People are busy on Twitter for, what time is it? 11:45 in Houston.
Astros After Dark. Watching their boys play some good baseball on the West Coast. We appreciate them staying tuned.
That is called strike 3, back to back. Called 3rd strikes. A couple of backwards Ks here in the 8th for Chris Davinsky.
Well, as much as that changeup can back up a little bit, so can that slider a little bit.
Dot, dot, dot.
So frustrating as a hitter when you know you've been had. You see that a lot with Chris Davinsky when he's right.
And this to me is one of, I mean, there's many values to Devo, but as a right-handed pitcher, to be able to neutralize left-handed hitters. Now this is a smart left-handed hitter, and Jed Lowry knows exactly what Devo's got, you know, on the plate. 2-0. By the way, the guy that tweeted the 20-year-old picture of me.
That is money.
That is.
I appreciate that guy.
That guy that says that I haven't aged in 20 years has not sat 2 feet from.
He's not in my seat.
That's right. There's a swing and a miss. It's 2-1.
The palo hasn't changed. It's the same hair.
That's a good one.
That was great. Wherever they found that, I appreciate it.
That's at the Astrodome.
Yeah, thank you. That was money. We needed that.
Yeah. That one skied to left. Underneath it and making the play is Fisher. We go to the 9th. 3-1 Houston.
red jersey on the right-hand side. The Astros are leading 3-1 over the Oakland Athletics here in the top of the ninth. Create memories, have fun, and enjoy a premium experience with an Astros luxury suite at Minute Maid Park. Create an experience your group is sure to remember. Visit astros.com/suites or call the Astros premium ticket line at 1-877-9-ASTROS and reserve your luxury suite today.
50th appearance of the season for Josh Smith. No record, a 6.50 ERA. So he will come in to work the ninth inning. The Astros leading it 3-1. He'll face meat of the order. Beg your pardon, it's the 6, 7, 8 in the order. Evan Gattis, Derek Fisher, and Alex Bregman. Although there have been times this year that has been the meat of the order. Take whatever third you want. They've all seen their amount of success. A couple of doubles tonight for Evan Gattis. Doubled in the second, doubled in the fifth. Now hitting .272 for the season.
And it's one thing for us to go out there and say that about this lineup. We've heard plenty of managers saying the same thing about this Astros lineup.
Last time the Astros were here was on the 14th and 15th of April. They were rained out on Sunday the 16th. But they scored in those two games. Astros did all their damage late in that ballgame. In fact, Manaea was one of the guys. He went, 5 innings and didn't give up a hit.
Yeah, no hit.
The Astros
baseball.
ended up scoring 10 runs in that game.
That's when we started to keep track of those numbers from the 7th inning on.
Well, there had been a series right before that, too, as they throw across there, and there's one away in the ninth. Against the Mariners, when the Astros really started a little bit of a trend of scoring late. Here's Derek Fisher. He's hitless tonight in 3 at-bats. He struck out a couple of times. Punched out looking in the 7th. Two-run home run, Marisnick, solo shot. George Springer in the 8th. Astros on top 3-1. Jed Lowry, an RBI double for the Oakland Athletics. That ball is hit well to right. Looking up and watching that one go. Second career home run for Derek Fisher. The Astros on top 4-1.
It's always nice to have a little bit of insurance, but to do it in a loud way like Derek Fisher did is awfully nice.
Third home run of the night for the Astros.
And we saw him go oppo back in Minute Maid Park into the Crawford boxes. Here it's turn and burn time and put it deep into right field here at Rickey Henderson Field. Setting up in, fastball right out over the middle part of the plate. And even in this young in his career, he knows what to do with it.
Watch where this thing goes.
105.4 miles an hour off the bat, 408 feet.
Bregman, good swing here. Davis will cut it off from going in the gap. Bregman going for 2, and he is safe at second. Well, he was thinking double out of the box, and Bregman with a second double of the night, and he is at second with 1 out here in the 9th inning.
As soon as he saw Chris Davis pick up the baseball, he decided to go to second base. And a great choice. They've been testing his arm all year long, and they're going to continue to do that. That ball's ripped into the left center field gap. Hanging breaking ball. It was a great shot of seeing him keep his head down on that baseball and driving the barrel through it. Just running right in front of Chris Davis, challenging him, and Alex Bregman beats it.
Second double tonight for Bregman as Marisnick steps in. That is his 11th, making his 12th double of the season. Marisnick hit his 9th home run of the year in the 5th inning. Walked in the 7th.
Ties a season high for Jake Marisnick with those 9 home runs.
Still a lot of baseball left to be played. That's 1-1. Looking on and waiting to get his turn.
Bregman looks a little closer to second.
He was picked off to end the 8th inning, or the beg your pardon, the 7th inning. 3-run lead. Kent Giles will get the 9th inning. Astros looking for more here, though. It's the first of a 4-game series. Astros looking for their 7th straight win here in Oakland. They've out-hit the A's 9-4. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out. Bregman at second. Marisnik a swing and a miss. They'll throw it down to complete the putout. 2-3. And here's George Springer again. Springer hit his 20th home run of the season. He's 2 for 4. Homered a solo shot in the 8th inning. There's been nothing cheap about it. There's not been any wall scrapers tonight for the Astros in those 3 home runs. Springer looked like he hit that one with
yes.
You guys are rough. And if you think that still looks like
the first game of a 7-game road trip you're going to be on, there better be more of these pictures out here because this is beautiful.
Don't doubt
this.
that.
This hasn't changed. This has not changed.
This has. See that?
You painted that in. Did that on purpose.
Yeah, right. That's 1-1. Springer led the game off. Hit a ball that hooked away from Chris Davis. It was originally ruled an out, but then they reviewed it. And after further review, it was ruled that he did not possess the baseball when he went to the ground. There's a ground out to first base. But Derek Fisher, with his 2nd home run of his very, very brief major league career, puts the Astros on top 4-1. Top. So we come to you from Oakland, California tonight. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Astros looking for their 7th straight win here in the Bay Area. They'll turn it over to their closer, Ken Giles, making his 29th appearance of the season.
Power fastball, 16 out of 18 in the save department, and a good whip, getting down near that 1 mark.
He will face Chris Davis to lead off here in the 9th inning. Davis struck out his first 2 at-bats, walked in the 6th. Giles with some heat, 99 miles per hour. Guy that can bring the heat, a guy that can turn it around at the plate. Astros with a 3-run lead in the 9th. Davis on the ground to Correa. Throws across, and there's one away. A good start to the 9th inning for Ken Giles. Yeah, stick around. Coming up for you late night folks, it's the post-game show. Bart Ennis and Mike Stanton. We'll look at Brad Peacock's night tonight. Boy, the home runs, 3 of them tonight. Plenty to talk about. And you'll also hear from A.J. Hinch and player reaction. It's all coming up on the Astros post-game show immediately following tonight's game. Yonder Alonso with 1 out here in the 9th. 98-mile-an-hour fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Alonso 1 for 3. Singled back in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th. Grounded out in the 6th. And Giles in relief. Peacock started. Will Harris relieved him, and it was Davinsky, and now Ken Giles. That ball skied to left field. The play is made by Derek Fisher. A's are down to an out. It'll be Ron Healy batting with 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Just 5 pitches to record the first 2 outs here in the 9th. Ken Giles wants a new baseball. Ron Healy 0 for 3 tonight with a couple of punch outs. Struck out in the 2nd, struck out again in the 7th inning. Seventh and the 8th inning, the Astros between Will Harris and Chris Davinsky recorded 6 straight outs via the strikeout. There was a Stephen Vogt walk in that mix with 2 outs in the 7th inning, which was, for all intents and purposes, an intentional walk. He had good numbers against Will Harris. Harris walked him on 4. But now 2 outs. 4-1, Houston on top. Swing and a miss. Got him with a slider. 0-2.
Good slider. When Giles is going good, it's eerily reminiscent of that Brad Lidge slider that breaks straight down.
You saw the dot at the bottom of the box. Literally on the bottom line of the box. That one fouled away to the left side. Astros looking for their 7th straight win here in Oakland and their 47th of the season. Tonight, game number 71. Fouled away. 98 miles an hour. Four 9-0 for Houston. 1-4-0 for Oakland. That one's a low ball. A ball and 2 strikes. All 4 runs coming on the home run tonight for Houston. 2-run shot by Marisnick. Springer with a solo homer in the 8th, and then Derek Fisher, solo home run in the 9th. They got quite a tune playing out there for 2 outs in the 9th inning in a 4-1 game.
That's a good word for it.
The pitch, that one popped up. Going to be a long run for Springer, and he'll make the play, and the Astros win it. 7th straight win here in Oakland. The Astros go to 47-24. It smiles all around as the Astros score all 4 of their runs on long balls tonight.
We've got a player of the game, and it's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And Jake started the season as a part of the Cupid Shuffle out in the outfield. Now he's become part of the Cupid Crushers. Him and George Springer hitting bombs in this game, but that was a big 2-run bomb in the 5th to put the Astros ahead and back up a solid start from Brad Peacock.
Astros win it 4-1.